At the moment, people coming from countries like Bangladesh are not being removed. I've done it before. I know how it's done. I think it can be done again, and that way we can stop people coming here in the first place. So on the first few days in government, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put the staff back in the returns unit. I'll make sure that we've got planes going off, not to Rwanda, because that's an expensive gimmick. They will go back to the countries where people come from. That's what used to happen.
Where I mean, it's so hard to do.
Well, at the moment, people coming from countries like Bangladesh are not being removed.
Halima Khan for Stratford and Bow, whistleblower of the Labour Party, for the nation, for constituents, and for Palestine.
From day one, I was instructed to mass surveil individuals' social profiles, social media profiles, and go through and find evidence and type in buzzwords such as Palestine. So even if you had mentioned Palestine, you were on our radar. One of the first things that Keir Starmer did was recruit an Israeli spy as a social listener. Now, nobody was allowed to ask what that role was. You know, what is your purpose here?
I used to work in the Labour Party as an investigations and governance officer. I was also chair of the BME network. So I was exposed to a lot of corruption internally, and then also, you know, how the party operates on a hierarchy of racism towards its staff and towards its members. Now, you know, I was the lead investigator for the London region, where I'd come across or had been leading an investigation into Newham, and there I witnessed high levels of corruption and on the basis of targeting specific communities based on their race and religion. Now, you know, for me, when I took the decision to whistleblow, Palestine, you know, was under attack in May 2021 during Ramadan. I was also leading this investigation on Newham, where, you know, I was exposed to a dossier which included, you know, members and their children being monitored and where they were going to school and where they were parking their cars, as exposed in the Labour Files, the hierarchy episode, and as well as being an investigations officer, seeing how the anti-Semitism process was used to target members who are pro-Palestine. So that's my connection with the constituents. Now, after the Labour Files released, you know, what I expected was for Newham Labour to be held to account, but instead it was the one episode that, you know, had the least amount of views out of the three main long-form episodes, and it was the one episode where mainstream media didn't even want to talk about the story of Newham and Newham members and how they had suffered, you know, by a dossier that just exposed mass surveillance of members, and they weren't even aware until some of the members were interviewed in the documentary. Now, even when I walk around and I talk to constituents in Newham, they don't even know about the episode. And sometimes when I say, look, there's a whole episode based on you, you know, in your community, they're shocked. And, you know, I think that raising their voice as well as the Palestinian voice, for me, they go hand in hand.
I'm very concerned about any upset I may have caused. That certainly wasn't my intention. I didn't mean to offend anyone or upset anyone, and I'm genuinely concerned that I have
done it before. I know how it's done. I think it can be done again, and that way we can stop people coming here in the first place. On the question of returns, because you raised that, which is very important, the number of people being returned to where they came from